Namaste. My name is Dr. Chaitra S. Nirantar. I'm an obstetrician and gynecologist from Cannes Multi-Speciality Hospital. So today we continue our talk on PCOS. And one of the most important, the role of diet in PCOS. We have with us Ms. Sudiksha Mukherjee, who is our fitness and nutrition coach, who's going to give us more insight on the diet for PCOS. So, Sudiksha, if you can, I think there's a lot to talk about when we talk about PCOS and diet. As we say, one of the main reason for the genesis of PCOS itself is a faulty diet. So, what do you have to say about that?
Thank you, first of all, for having me here. I really feel nice talking about this because there is so much of lack of awareness because of which this faulty diet that you just mentioned has happened. It's, over the period of time with generations, we just lost that understanding and the availability of this idea that normal food sources are available, but we are not having it in the right balance. And the biggest part, we are not moving enough. So we start thinking that, oh, whatever we eat is not getting digested or everything turns into fat. So with that, it's very important to look for foods which are understand foods that we eat and understand we can categorize it into two parts. One is the energy that we have from it, which we talk as calories. Just like we should not think about calories that, oh God, it's a very hyped thing or it's going to create an eating disorder. It's not like that. It's just like we measure time into hours, seconds, or distance into kilometers. We're just measuring food as a unit called calories. So it's important that we understand that every food comes with energy in the form of calories, and it has got a lot of micronutrients as well. So the quality of food, let's talk about the vitamins, the minerals in it. So the right balance of it, and when we know that what all foods have these kind of things, and when we consume that on a daily basis, these issues slowly start getting managed. Sometimes, if at an early stage, also chances to get reversed.
That's so true. I don't think our mother or grandmother was actually so concerned about what they were eating or are they having a fat-free diet. So, Dr. Sudiksha, can you tell me what do we have to eat in PCOS? Most of the patients in the OPD ask us, what do we have to eat?
Yeah. So see, the understanding of this begins with the fact whether the person knows about herself or not. And there are scientific studies, which prove that having the right body fat can automatically help you get over this lifestyle induced disease, you can say, right? And when we are aware of the right body fat, means if your body fat is elevated and that is the reason for your higher weight, okay, that means you need to understand that you have to have the right amount of food, okay. Bringing down the calorie intake by knowing what your intake should be is the first key. So a lot of studies prove that creating a negative energy balance for a particular individual has helped reduce the body fat, body weight, and automatically get control of this issue to a great extent. It really impacts in improving the overall hormonal balance. Like, we human beings have these hormones which are actually the natural biological drugs inside our body. So if they start working well with the foods that we have, it will help really well. So number one is reducing the calorie intake by knowing your body fat percentage and splitting it into the macro and micronutrients, that is the protein, carbs, and fats, which are available. If I say proteins, it's available from a regular foods. For non-vegetarians, chicken, fish, eggs. For vegetarians, it could be a lot of legume-based, lentils, okay? But more importantly, soy-based products, if had in the right quantity. Then nuts and seeds, which are so rich also in micronutrients, like the vitamins, minerals. And also not to forget our dairy products. If somebody is not lactose intolerant or has any allergy, feel free to have different forms of dairy foods. And when these had in the right quantity, you are striking that right calorie intake with the nutrient dense food, and that creates the pathway to help you improve your hormone condition and the fat condition as well.
Oh, that was quite a good amount of information, Sudiksha. So can I get more insight on how much should a PCOS girl consume?
So actually, when we talk about how much the quantity, I just take this opportunity to give you one example. If let's say you and I go for a shopping at a store, and we both want to pick a kurta, maybe the size that fits you might not fit me, or we take the same size and then we have to get it tucked somewhere at some parts of the body. So exactly that way, one size does not fit all. And that is why it's important. There are a lot of freely available tools, even websites available, where you can find out your body fat. You can simply, like, if somebody does a Google and find out the body fat, understands what's the person's energy expenditure for the day and what is the person's metabolic rate. These are very easily available. If somebody does a Google to find body fat, metabolic rate, and energy expenditure, they get to know their own condition. You just have to put some basic information which comes from girth measurements and all that, the girth method that they call. And with that, you'll be able to, every person can understand what is the quantity, the calorie intake that I need to take. Then there are so many tools available. You can, like the apps these days that are available, where you can put the food quantities and understand that, oh acha, if this is the calorie intake which I'm being recommended, then how do I split between the foods? So if somebody typically has rice, lentil, any rotis made out of flour, chapatis made out of flour, or green vegetables, fruits, just start putting those in such applications, and then you find your individualized plan. Because telling somebody generically that, just have a bowl of fruits, a bowl of green vegetables, yes, these food sources are important. Every PCOD, in fact every normal person should also have it, okay? But the trick is the right quantity, which is very important, that we make some effort. If we are experiencing a condition, we would really want to get better around it. So just make that small effort, make use of the freely available tools, and find out what is specific to you.
Perfect. So, as Sudiksha said, can't be individualized, but she's also given us a few details on how we can get to know about our body better, and then we can individualize our portions. So, Sudiksha, also, can you give us a little more insight on the cooking methods? Is there any specific method which is good for PCOS patients?
See, there's no specific method, but the method, if we have to think of, it roots from the thought of what we are eating, like we were speaking before. So if I'm talking of bringing somebody's weight down through fat loss or maintaining the right fat, then of course we have to be very calculative about the calories that we eat. Okay, so that means we have to take control of the oils, how much oils or what kind of oils would be good enough. And when it comes to PCOD, it would be good to understand that monosaturated fats are very good, which comes from some foods and some oils like olive oil or even canola oil, peanut oil. So these oils can be used for cooking, and the quantity of it is very crucial. So it's important to get into this habit, rather than as I said, it can't be individualized, and rather than saying 10 grams or 15 grams, let's get in the habit of cooking the food in 1 teaspoon or maximum 2 teaspoon one meal. Okay, that automatically restricts a particular meal and makes it less fatty overall, right? And also we resort to these kind of oils because they are helping you not develop too much of LDL, which becomes like a hindrance to your progress in every way. So also incorporating foods like I said, nuts and seeds, so your walnuts, almonds, seeds like pumpkin seeds, they have natural fats in them, which is very good for the health. So I again won't say, a lot of places they'll say that my handful, I can really fill the entire fist, or I can have a little bit. Okay, so again, it's important to just understand that maybe a 10-15 grams per day. If somebody's fat percentage is too high, we'll try to keep it through dietary fats and again control the oil intake a little more. Once we understand this, automatically our cooking method becomes very clear that okay, I'm going to use simpler oils, lesser oils to make a lot of foods which are low GI, high protein, high fiber, which brings in to the point that use a lot of green vegetables, protein rich food like soya beans, soy chunks. So we can add more sources, like, these days things have become very convenient. You can also go for defatted soy flour, which is available. It's so protein rich, and you can just mix it with wheat flour and have a good dough. You can make different things out of it. You have a protein rich base there itself. And imagine you can use that for even wraps or any fancy stuff that you can make. You just have to be a little creative using simple sauces. And for non-vegetarians, again, we have low lean fat chicken, lean fish, because fish also comes with a lot of micronutrients which chicken does not have. So the idea is incorporating different food sources. Not one food source will fix it all. Understand what are the protein components, what are the foods which will have protein, carbs, fats, or the micronutrients, and keep variating all of them. So that, and that's how you make your diet very holistic.
Okay. Wow, that's a good information. Now, is there any particular method in which we have to store our food, the ones which we are consuming? Is there anything specific for PCOS patients?
See, I think this question also comes from the point that people have become very busy, be it a student or these days student come working professionals and working professionals. I mean, different jobs, whichever field you pick up. So from there, I think the storage fact comes in. Say, if you are cooking some food at home, as long as we are cooking and keeping it in glass containers, airtight glass containers in the fridge post cooking, it's okay, as long as you do not take it out and heat it every time, because heating is breaking the components of the food, right? So you can store them and heat only the portion that you want to eat, and it is okay to store it for 3 days. That's for cooked food. So if you're talking about packed foods, if we want to quickly grab something from the shelf, like there we have to understand that what is added, and we have to look into the nutritional value which is mentioned behind the pack. For example, if we take the example of nuts and seeds, which we if we take control of preparing, maybe adding flavor, because nuts and seeds are what, they are raw stuff and they are so rich in different micronutrients that is very much needed for our body. So maybe to also give some taste and enjoy the dieting journey, you would want to add some flavors to it. But if you do it at home, what would you do? You'll have everything in control. You'll dry roast it, or even soaked almonds and all that is fine. But the same thing, you buy it from the stores, the packed foods, to increase the shelf life. A lot of things are added, especially if you might see sodium is high, or maybe you have to be very mindful of if there are any polyunsaturated fats or fats related stuff, because you never know what all they added to preserve it, to increase the shelf life. So since as an individual it's not possible to understand and tackle all of that, it's better to avoid, unless somebody has an individualized nutritionist who can just see, okay, what all has been carved out for you. With that, once in a week you can have that or not. If you do not have someone, it's better to avoid and take charge of it with the things that are available at home.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sudiksha. And viewers, we have a really exciting session coming up by Sudiksha, which is going to give you a lot of diet or meal plans for PCOS. We would call it the PCOS friendly diet. So stay tuned for more. Thank you.